Alright, so calculating the gradient of a linear equation. So for this activity, we need to find the gradient of a line which passes through the points -2, 5, and 3 and 6. So there are two ways to do this. One way you've done in previous years, so we're going to do that first with our Cartesian plane, and the second way using a formula, which I will show you in a second. So the first thing you need to do is plot your 2 points. So we'll plot our first one first. So -2 and +5 is going to be up there. And you're going to label this one -2 and 5. And our second one is 3 and 6. So 3 and 6. And label it as well. So we need to find the gradient, which is basically the slope. So the distance from one to the other. So you will remember, hopefully, the phrase rise and run. So that's how you calculate gradient. So rise is how much it is going up or down, and run is side to side. So when we look at this, we need to work out how high we went up and how far we went across to get to this second point. So the easiest way is to actually just count it. So we started at 5 and we went up 1 to 6. So we went up 1. That was our rise. Now for our run, we need to work out how many spaces we went across from this first point to our second point. So you're literally just going to count across. So we started at 2. So we started here. We went across once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. 5 times. So up there was 5. So that there is your gradient. So that's the first way. So using rise and run, which is what you've done previously. The second way you can do it is using this guy. So you don't need to draw anything on a Cartesian plane or do anything for this. So the 2 points that we started with were -2, 5. So that's point 1, and point 2 was 3, 6. So I've just written them down there. So what we're going to do now is use this formula, because we use that one up the top. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So looking at our points here, I've labelled them. This is our first plot. This is our second. We know that x always comes first and y always comes second. So what we need here, it's told us we are looking at the y's. So we need to find the y for the second point, which is 6. So you're going to write 6 there. You need to take away our first y from our 6, which was 5. Then we need to do x. So we need our second x, which we had as 3. And then we need our first x, which was -2. Now we can actually work this out. 6 minus 5, we're left with 1. If you have 3 and you take away -2, don't forget that those two symbols then turn into a plus. So it'll actually end up being 3 plus 2. And if you don't believe me, here's my calculator. So 3 minus -2, and we'll actually make it a positive number. So if this confuses you, always use your calculator. So you'll actually get a +5. And you can see there, our gradient being 1 over 5 was exactly the same as what we had up here. I just didn't have to draw anything on a Cartesian plane. So first way of doing it, second way of doing it. This is the way we focus on in Year 10.